Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Our next weather maker is crossing our area right now. If you haven't started to see the rain just yet, I'll show you what time you'll see it and how much you'll get.
And wildfires in western North Carolina, at least 3 are burning at this hour. How Helene storm debris is hampering efforts to put out the flames.
Also setting standards. Some students confirm that cell phones are distractions in class, but some say enforcement varies across Wake County schools. How the district plans to change that.
Yeah, that cold front is crossing our area right now. Showers through early afternoon, and a good afternoon on this Monday to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at how much rain we will see.
This is a really narrow band of rain that is coming through here along with this cold front. So it's not going to be a whole lot of rain. We'll zoom in and you can see dual Doppler 5000 radar. The leading edge of that rain moving into Wake County right now, but the back edge of it is leaving Greensboro. So it's only about 50 miles wide and it's probably moving around 30 miles an hour. So probably going to only see it for an hour, hour and a half at the most. Not seeing any lightning with this, but it could be as it moves eastward that we, hear a few rumbles of thunder. Once this moves on by, we still could have a few isolated showers behind it. Chapel Hill seeing some showers as well as Durham up the 85 corridor into Mecklenburg County. About to see that moving into the airport area right now in Apex and then down to the south as well. So this whole line is just going to move through the area. You can see it here on Futurecast. There's noon. Of course, we're seeing it right through the middle of the viewing area now. We'll move it ahead to 1 o'clock and it's really along the I-95 corridor, and around 2 to 2:30 it moves right on out. But then watch what happens after that. Couple of little cells could pop up with a sprinkle or two during the evening commute, and then it's really out of here by the time we get to, say, 6 or 7 o'clock. We take a look at our hour-by-hour rain chances, and we do keep it at about 30% during the evening commute just because we could see a little sprinkle or two. Here's a live look at Chapel Hill. Plenty of people out walking around with their umbrellas. That rain is definitely coming down steadily. We also have breezy conditions. Southwest wind at 15 miles per hour and a temperature of 64. We'll talk more about what we'll see behind this front coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And fire crews out in the western part of our state are hoping that rain provides a little bit of relief. There are 3 fires burning right now in the same areas devastated by Hurricane Helene. WRAL's Noah Klein is here now. And Noah, first responders have been working for several days now to try to get help to that area.
Jeff, exactly. This is all happening over in Polk County on some dry woodlands. You can see some of the footage here, and you can see that orange smoke coming across. More help is coming in from out of state, including a team of 25 firefighters from Oregon who are hoping to do what they can just to help out here. Governor Josh Stein said FEMA approved a grant to help the state respond to these fires. Polk County government declared a state of emergency last week. That's when the more than 2,000-acre Black Cove fire started in Green River Gorge. In just the last 24 hours, the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services said this fire was 0% contained. New evacuations were ordered for residents of 5 roadways in the area. That's according to Polk County Emergency Management. The Deep Woods fire nearby has burned more than 2,500 acres and is also 0% contained. That third fire is 199 acres over at Fish Hook. That is said to be about 50% contained, though we should mention evacuation orders there are still happening. One local business is hoping to help firefighters working these long hours.
We did 150 hot dogs in about 2 hours. Monday, we got about 400 meals going out at 5 o'clock. Yesterday, it was Ward's Grill and us knocking out 300 meals.
First responders have not reported any deaths or injuries. An emergency shelter has also opened in Henderson County for residents who live near the county line.
Noah, thanks. School officials and some students agree cell phones can be a distraction during class, but some say enforcement of the rules differs. WRAL's Destiny Patterson explains how the Wake County school system plans to change that. Destiny.
Well, students acknowledge that cell phones can be a distraction, but also noted inconsistent enforcement. Teachers called for guidance on how to address repeat offenses, and that's because each principal can make up the rules for each of their own phone schools. Now, most people agreed that students should be allowed to bring their cell phones to school, and this new policy would allow for that as long as they're turned off, silenced, or in airplane mode. There are a few exceptions, though: instructional purposes with teacher supervision, any breaks of transitions throughout the school day, and emergencies. Now, staff can temporarily confiscate a cell phone as well with this new draft policy.
Don't bring a cell phone to school. There's not a need for it. It's a distraction. It gets in the way of teaching and learning. It doesn't need to be there.
This policy comes as lawmakers at the state level are also considering a full-on cell phone ban. The Wake County superintendent previously told me he wants the district to be able to make that decision. Now, this policy is just in the draft stage, as I mentioned, so board members will discuss it starting tomorrow, and then a final vote will happen in May.
Destiny, thank you. Today, the Wake County Board of Commissioners Education Committee meets. They'll get an update on the funding that's needed for the county's Smart Start program. They will also discuss the We're asking Raleigh police whether two crashes that happened just minutes apart and left 3 people dead are connected. The first crash happened Sunday morning at 341 on Gorman Street at Kaplan Drive. Police say 23-year-old Pierre-Louis Demorgue was on an e-scooter when a driver hit him from behind. He died at the scene. The driver did not stop. Just 3 minutes later, a head-on crash happened on I-40 East near Gorman Street. Police say 27-year-old Jonathan Perry turned onto I-40 from Gorman in the wrong direction. He hit a car that was driven by 37-year-old Elena Matthews. Both drivers were killed. Police say Perry had an odor of alcohol and an open container at his feet.
The sexual assault trial of one of France's most prolific and famous actors resumed today after a 5-month delay. Gerard Depardieu is accused of sexually assaulting 2 women on a movie set in 2021. The alleged crimes occurred during the filming of The Green Shutters. Depardieu has denied any wrongdoing. The actor is also under investigation for tax fraud, aggravated tax fraud, and money laundering. Sad news on the health of former U.S. Representative Mia Love. The first black Republican congresswoman died yesterday after her long battle with an aggressive brain cancer. The 49-year-old's family announced her passing on X. Love was diagnosed with brain cancer in 2022. She had undergone recent treatment and immunotherapy as part of a clinical trial at Duke University's Brain Tumor Center. Love announced earlier this month her cancer treatment was no longer working.
The U.S. Air Force is moving forward with plans to build the next generation of fighter jets. The Air Force chose Boeing to build and deliver the F-47. The value of the government contract has not been disclosed, but early estimates suggest the cost would exceed $20 billion. The jets are expected to be built at a Boeing Space Center in St. Louis. The Trump administration is seeking corporate sponsors for this year's White House Easter egg roll. Sponsorships range from $75,000 to $200,000, offering branding opportunities. The egg roll, which was established in 1878, has long been privately funded without taxpayer dollars. Earlier this month, the president touted a selection of Teslas alongside Elon Musk on the South Lawn. Ethics experts say this kind of advertising on White House grounds is unprecedented.
Duke will play in the NCAA tournament round of 16. The top-seeded Blue Devils will play 4-seed Arizona, who beat Oregon in the final round of the game, or final game of the round of 32 yesterday. Duke and Arizona will tip off approximately 9:39 Thursday night in Newark, New Jersey. Duke advanced with an 89-66 win over Baylor yesterday at the Lenovo Center. And fans we talked with on their way out after the game say the atmosphere inside the arena was like a home game for the Blue Devils.
It got real loud when Duke's got up and Duke started like taking over and like getting a couple leads. And it was like, all right.
Now, if Duke can get past Arizona, they will play either Alabama or BYU in the round of 8 Saturday. Duke women are also headed for the Sweet 16. They advanced with a 59-53 win over Oregon yesterday at Cameron Indoor Stadium. They will play the winner of today's game between UNC and West Virginia in the next round.
We'll have reports later today from Reynolds Coliseum after NC State's game and from Carmichael Arena ahead of UNC's tip-off. Watch WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening. Tomorrow, NC State will officially introduce Will Wade as the head coach of Wolfpack men's basketball. Wade is coming from McNeese State. He led the Cowboys to the NCAA tournament in each of the last 2 seasons. They beat Clemson in the first round this year before losing to Purdue on Saturday. He has also coached at Chattanooga, VCU, and LSU. Wade signed a 6-year agreement with NC State pending approval by the Board of Trustees, and he'll be introduced at Reynolds Coliseum at 1 p.m. tomorrow. You can count on WRAL to be there.
I may have watched a lot of basketball this weekend, and all the announcers and analysts were speaking very highly of that man, Will Wade, and what NC State is getting. So looking forward to it.
Well, Wolfpack fans very excited about a new start, a new chapter for their basketball team. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is tracking the system that will be bringing us rain, and maybe in some parts area starting to see some rain now.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing some rain in the viewing area currently. We do look briefly just down to the south, right along the Gulf Coast is where we've had severe weather with this system. We haven't seen anything but just a little thunder and lightning here in Georgia. And boy, out ahead of the front, this line is really shrinking. So this is not going to be a whole lot of rain for us. You can see here Futurecast showing like right now this band of rain moving across the region. By 1 o'clock, it's in our eastern counties, and by 2 o'clock, it's really exiting the region, and it's pretty narrow, about 50 miles wide, and it's moving at about 40 miles an hour. So probably going to end up seeing it maybe an hour or so at any one spot. Notice later this afternoon and evening, around the time of the evening commute, there could be an isolated shower that pops up, but we shouldn't see much of that. We take a live look at Apex, where the bulk of that band is moving right through right now. There's a little bit of a yellow kind of line there with that too. So it's going to be heavy briefly in some places, but again, it's going to move out in and out pretty quickly. 60 degrees is our temperature currently, and we'll eventually climb into the upper 60s once that rain moves on out. It is warmer than that ahead of the front, where we've seen a bit more sunshine. So 72 in Fayetteville, 73 Clinton, 72 Goldsboro, 71 in Rocky Mount. But behind the front, temperatures are a little cooler, 59 Southern Pines, 52 in Roxborough. So the temperatures may drop a little bit once this moves on by. For example, Chapel Hill's at 55 right now, 62 though in Cary, 65 in Garner, and 70 in Clayton. So big wide range right here across the triangle, just depending on where the rain is and isn't. Also breezy. Look at that. We're gusting to 34 in Fayetteville right now, 32 in Goldsboro, 26 in Rocky Mount. It'll be breezy even after this line of rain moves through. We'll see winds gusting up to around 25 miles per hour till around 5 or 6 o'clock. And then once we get to sunset, that wind should die down a little bit. We're looking at moderate levels for trees and grasses in terms of the pollen for today. That rain should knock those numbers down just a little bit. But tomorrow, with dry conditions and sunshine, it's likely to bounce right back up to high for both the trees and for grasses. So, the pollen is just going to settle in, and it will be with us for a while. The messy pine pollen, probably another month plus. 69 in Raleigh this afternoon, 67 Durham, 73 Fayetteville. That's about where our high temperatures will be. Behind the front, we don't cool off right away, but eventually toward the end of the week, temperatures will drop. 42 is our normal low. And Thursday morning, we could wake up to temperatures in the 30s, and it'll be fairly cool through the end of the week. But we're looking at 82 on Saturday and 80 degrees on Sunday. So big changes coming with our temperatures. We're going to talk a little bit more about the rain. We'll take another look at the radar coming up in just a little while and talk about how much rain you could see where you are.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Big basketball dreams coming up this afternoon at 4. We introduce you to the mother who has supported her daughter's basketball dreams even overseas.
Plus, the future of affordable health insurance. As 15 years of the Affordable Care Act is celebrated, there are concerns about how the current White House administration proposes changes, how Medicare in North Carolina could be affected. That's coming up at 5. Let's go ahead this noon. Shipping strategy, the action coming for some companies are taking to avoid tariffs imposed by President Trump.
Also, a real gem, how a new traffic pattern at a busy intersection could make your commute safer.
Foreign automakers are rushing to ship vehicles and parts to the U.S. to get ahead of the next round of President Donald Trump's tariffs. Cargo ships have been dispatched to Europe and Asia with plans to transport thousands more vehicles than usual. Some shipping executives say Hyundai and Kia are among those trying to ship more cars ahead of the tariff deadline. Vehicle shipments from Europe rose more than 20% in February. Gene testing firm 23andMe has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The board's chair also says the CEO has resigned effective immediately. The action comes years after 23andMe struggled to find a sustainable business model. The company tried to convert one-time buyers into subscribers, but fell far short of its goals.
Apple is working on adding cameras to the Apple Watch to enable AI features such as visual intelligence within the next 2 years. The cameras will be inside the display for the standard series watch and on the side for the Apple Watch Ultra. The device would be able to view the outside world and use AI to deliver relevant information. Segway has recalled about 200,000 scooters after injuries from falls. The folding mechanism in Segway's 9-Bot Max G30P and Max G30LP kick scooters can fail during use, causing the handlebars or stem of the scooters to fold. Segway has received 68 reports of these folding mechanism failures. Injuries include broken bones, cuts, and bruises. People are urged to stop using them immediately and contact Segway for a free maintenance kit.
The average American is willing to put nearly $120 on the line for their NCAA tournament brackets this year. That is according to Talker Research survey.
So Gen Z is willing to lose an average of $199, whereas millennials up the ante to an average of $205. On the flip side, baby boomers are only willing to put an average of $40 on the line. Almost half participate in the college basketball madness of March in some manner. Where's Gen X?
I know, right?
They just don't bet. That's what happens.
Boomers are a little tighter with the money. They've lost plenty in these pools, right? So that brings us to our WRAL live poll, and we are asking you, how much are you willing to bet on a bracket? You can weigh in now by scanning that QR code on your screen or head to WRAL.com/yourvoice. $20 for the bracket right there. Mine's barely worth the ink it's written on.
Mine is just a donation to someone else's cause.
Right.
Construction complete. How a new traffic pattern near RDU International could make your drive smoother.
Also, the right recipe. Diet and rest go hand in hand. How a night of poor sleep could affect your appetite. And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen. Renee and I'll be right back.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
A new traffic pattern is in place on Airport Boulevard on I-40. It is now a diverging diamond, which sends cars driving on the left side of the road. The idea is to help traffic flow more smoothly through that busy interchange. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains how the DOT hopes this will improve safety.
Starting today, you'll notice a change on your commute on Airport Boulevard. The road is now back open here after crews finished up their work over the weekend. This Sky 5 video shows you where the new diverging diamond is located. NCDOT closed the Airport Boulevard Bridge over I-40 to complete the finishing touches. The diverging diamond will keep traffic flowing for drivers who are entering and exiting the interstate, and it will eliminate the need for a left turn against oncoming traffic. It's designed to speed up traffic flow and reduce the chance for crashes.
Because they're going to be making their way to and from point A to point B faster and safer.
We'll be sure to keep you updated on this new traffic pattern throughout the day. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Wake County.
A lane of I-85 will remain closed to traffic to repair potholes. Crews are working in the right lane of I-85 South in Durham. This is between the Gate 1 Road and Redwood Road exits until about 3 o'clock today. That includes over the Falls Lake Bridge. Drivers should allow for extra time and use caution when driving through the work zone.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, a home destroyed after a fire in Raleigh belongs to a family who is fighting cancer. We were there yesterday when firefighters were on the scene of that fire on Millbrook Road. Nobody was hurt in the fire, but Catherine Keeney said everything was destroyed. The fire hit the family especially hard as her son Cameron fights a rare form of stomach cancer. She started a GoFundMe page back in 2022 to help with his medical expenses, and now she's hoping the GoFundMe can help in additional ways. The cause of the fire is under investigation, but if you would like to help this family, we do have the GoFundMe linked to the story on our website, WRAL.com.
Crews were expected back out on the Tar River in Franklin County again today, 1 week after a boy disappeared into the water there. The crews have been using sonar scans to try to find the 7-year-old. They have searched more areas of the water and land with drones and SBI cadaver dogs. Divers have now searched more than 11 miles from the point the boy was last seen last Monday. Today, a Wake County man who's facing 10 charges of sexual exploitation of a minor is scheduled for his first court appearance. According to court documents, the charges against 43-year-old Jonathan Lavolsi date back to April of last year. It appears an operation from the state's computer crimes unit led to his arrest in Wake Forest. Lavolsi is being held on a $750,000 bond.
An important statewide change could be coming after a WRAL investigation. A state lawmaker is presenting legislation to create stronger regulations on tattooing in our state. In a previous WRAL news story, we highlighted the 0 training hours required to be permitted to tattoo in North Carolina. State lawmaker Representative Julie Von Haven saw that story. After working with the Raleigh tattoo shop owner who sparked our initial investigation, Von Haven drafted a bill to strengthen tattoo regulations.
So I think if we can get everyone on board with what we're trying to do, that will also raise the support for maybe future requirements.
Tonight at 6 on WRAL, here are the first steps she's proposing to protect tattoo customers and artists.
Each year, millions of American citizens pay their income taxes. The Internal Revenue Service also encourages people who are in the U.S. illegally to do the same. In the past, filers' information was protected. Amy Kiley reports how a new partnership could loosen protections for Americans.
I have real privacy concerns here.
The IRS and Department of Homeland Security appear closer to finalizing an information sharing agreement. A person familiar with the matter says it would enable ICE to submit names and addresses of people who might be in the U.S. illegally. The source says the IRS could then cross-reference and confirm that information.
The goal of this appears to be speeding up President Trump's deportation effort.
The president's supporters say his immigration policies are what voters want.
You have an administration and a president that is strong in their conviction that they have a mandate from the voters to act, particularly on the issue of illegal immigration.
Critics say involving the IRS could endanger taxpayer privacy. The agency works under laws that usually prohibit the release of personal information.
There is a process in place for a court to look at that and decide whether or not that information should be released.
This legal analyst notes President Donald Trump's attorneys fought in court to keep his own tax records private.
And there was this huge claim that there would be, in fact, that this was some privacy information that should be let out under federal law. And so that's really the issue here.
Many taxpayers have common names like John Smith. Advocates argue that could cause errors if the IRS worked with ICE.
We're inevitably going to be encroaching on the taxes and the privacy of American citizens.
That was Amy Kiley reporting, and critics say a deal between the agencies could mean migrants illegally here could refuse to comply with the tax laws and not pay the taxes they owe.
Letter carriers in the Triangle and nationwide are rallying in support of the Postal Service. President Donald Trump has suggested on several occasions he wants to privatize the Postal Service. Postal workers gathered on New Bern Avenue yesterday to protest any privatization of the nearly 250-year-old public institution.
They just want to serve anybody that may make a profit for them. And we're saying that we deliver to every house, every day, no matter race, color, creed, no matter how much you make. That is what we stand for.
The Board of Governors of the U.S. Postal Service has retained outside counsel against any potential executive order that would target the U.S. Postal Service.
Still ahead this noon, art as a prescription. Why one town says museum visits as ordered by a doctor just might be the medicine many people need.
And a huge vacation blunder. The consequences a tourist faces after he climbed the side of a Mayan temple in Mexico. Access all of the best of WRAL's reporting and technology resources right on your mobile device. Download the updated WRAL News app wherever you get your apps.
The rain is falling as you take this live look right now. Fenton and Cary. And as you watch WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device, we are in that window for some wet weather in our viewing area.
Compounding pharmacies were supposed to stop making versions of tirzepatide last week, but it's still available on some popular websites. Pharmacies were able to make these copycat versions of Eli Lilly's Zepbound and Mounjaro while the drugs were in shortage. But the FDA declared the shortage over late last year. Mass compounding of semaglutide, the active ingredient in Wegovy and Ozempic, is supposed to stop by the end of May. Doctors in one town in Switzerland are taking an interesting approach to combating health problems. A pilot program allows doctors to write museum prescriptions to any of the town's 4 museums. Doctors say the visits keep patients active, requiring them to walk and stand for longer periods of time. If successful, local officials could expand the program to other artistic activities like theater or dance.
A poor night of sleep not only leaves you feeling tired and groggy, it can also make you hungrier. Sleep regulates the release of hormones, and some of those hormones include the appetite hormones. And when those hormones are thrown off, it makes us eat more and crave more unhealthy food. A sleep specialist suggests avoiding one specific ingredient.
Drinking caffeine or eating foods with caffeine, including chocolate, after noon or 2 p.m. is likely to lead to some sleep fragmentation.
So if you continue to experience sleep issues, contact a specialist to rule out any underlying disorders.
Hollywood Game Changers, a powerful documentary, highlights the groundbreaking achievements of Black artists in Tinseltown. Industry veterans explain why being #1 on the call sheet equals power.
Plus, changing the rules, reaching the top of Mount Fuji will soon come with significant adjustments, the basis for these new regulations. The Hollywood term #1 on the call sheets refers to the top listed actor or actress on a movie or TV show. David Daniel takes a look at a pair of new documentaries that examine what it means to generations of leading Black performers.
If you're #1 on the call sheet, you are the subject and not the object of the narrative.
It's an accomplishment for most actors.
#1 on the call sheet looks at how top Black actors and actresses reached that pinnacle.
I didn't know how many opportunities I would have to be first. These guys who are absolutely amazing, that finished product that you see. But how did they get there?
We don't get here without your Denzels, your Morgans.
We asked the question to everyone, and everyone had a very different answer. They all understood that it meant responsibility. But that responsibility plays itself out in a lot of ways.
It was very important to me to learn early in the game how to do everybody's job. Now I have flashbacks. They got me having flashbacks.
Show people there's more to me than meets your eye.
If I'm being transformed,
The audience will be transformed.
the audience is a huge part of our work, and they need to see themselves.
#1 means excellent.
Yes.
And we know we can be excellent. And we wanted to project that and remind the rest of the world and also the young folks that are going to watch this that there is a blueprint for success, and you can see it here in this film. And it translates. It does. It translates.
We are storytellers. We put asses in seats.
They love the craft. They love the business. But then they also see things that need to change, and there are various parts of their career where they're trying to figure out how to change that. It's not like, ooh, I'm going to quit. No, I'm here. You have to deal with me. I'm figuring out my way. And it's so inspiring.
Once you get to the top of the mountain, create more mountain.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, find your seats. Both films in the #1 on the call sheet series, Black Leading Men in Hollywood and Black Leading Women in Hollywood, premiere Friday on Apple TV+.
Tonight, Wake County Deputy Robert Hunter will make another appearance on NBC's The Voice.
You can tell your old man you do some largemouth fishing.
Out of my way.
You just got too much on the plate to bait a cast a line.
Do not.
You can always put a range check anything.
Robert Hunter is on Team Kelsey Ballerini. You can see how quickly she turned her chair around when he started singing in his first appearance on the show. He'll try to get past the show's battle rounds tonight. You can catch him on The Voice tonight at 8 on WRAL.
Kelsey was saying, don't even try it. Don't even move in on that. Well, it's pouring out right now in a lot of places. And Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, how long it'll last and where that line's moving through now.
Well, I'll tell you what, we need a good bit of rain. As a matter of fact, a lot of the viewing area is still under moderate drought, but this is a narrow line of rain that's moving through. It's been a little more beefy down here along the Gulf Coast where there's been some severe weather. But let's zoom in and take a look at where this is on Dual Doppler 5000 radar. I mean, it's a really narrow band from just east of Raleigh all the way back here to around Hillsborough. So that's all we've got. It's maybe around 40 miles wide, and it's probably moving at about 30 miles per hour. So you can expect it to rain over you for around an hour or so. Notice the yellow shaded area. So the rain is going to be coming down moderately. It's not going to be, outrageously heavy. We're not looking at any flooding here. Really no lightning associated with it. It's just a band of rain that's moving through all the way up the I-85 corridor into Mecklenburg County. We'll zoom into the triangle right now. Raining in Garner, just getting ready to move into Clayton. It's really sitting right around the Wake County, Johnston County line. We're seeing rain up around Lewisburg and on up toward Henderson, Apex, Holly Springs. You can see all the way up to South Hill. We're seeing that rain getting ready to head into Roanoke Rapids. It should be to you probably in the next 20 to 30 minutes. Down to the south, Sanford seeing the rain, but it's already out of Siler City. Andrew and Lillington, Fayetteville, it's just starting to move into your area. Southern Pines and Rayford all seeing rain. But everybody's going to see this. It's going to hold together as a line across the viewing area. You can see where it is right now on Futurecast. By the time we get to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, it's out, but the front itself is still way back here. And so sky's clearing behind the front, but still right along the front, there could be an isolated shower that pops up during the evening commute. It's not likely to be enough to cause any problems for folks who are traveling. What you're seeing right now crossing the area is going to be when it will be heaviest right here around lunchtime. 80% chance because pretty much everybody will end up seeing it, but it's not a washout, heavy with the line coming through. But then after that, it really tapers off nicely. We jump ahead to tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be beautiful, sunny, like the weekend with a high temperature near 70 degrees. But look at what happens at around 5 o'clock. We have a band of rain that comes through. It is likely to be dry during the evening commute. By the time we get to 8 o'clock around dinner time or just after during the evening, we may have another band of rain that comes through. Once again, it could be heavy, but I wouldn't expect to see a lot of thunderstorms, and it's over around midnight. So when we take a look at our chances for rain, we have it at 0 for Tuesday, but that's because that's the daytime hours. And so just keep in mind that we will see some evening to overnight rain tomorrow. How much rain with this band coming through today? Really probably only about a tenth to maybe a quarter of an inch. Our next chance of rain after that comes over the weekend, but right now, Saturday and Sunday, the best chance of severe storms is going to be to our west. In the meantime, we have a chilly start to the day on Thursday when our lows drop into the 30s.
Elizabeth, thanks. Now, earlier in our newscast, we asked you, how much would you be willing to bet on a bracket? And right now, the audience average, $15. Okay. Not too much skin in the game.
It's teetering back and forth. It was up to 40 earlier, now down to 15, it was 20. Yeah.
No high rollers here.
Just enough to play.
We'll continue to collect answers throughout the day, so share this with your friends. Just scan the QR code on your screen or head to WRAL.com/yourvoice.
Fuji. Climbing Japan's iconic volcano comes with new rules. Why the new payment isn't the only change facing prospective hikers.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. Fire crews in the western part of our state are hoping that rain provides a bit of relief. 3 fires are burning right now in the same areas devastated by Hurricane Helene. Polk County government declared a state of emergency last week. In the last 24 hours, the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services said 2 out of 3 fires were 0% contained.
We also now know the names of a married couple who died Saturday night in what Johnston County deputies believe was a murder-suicide. Deputies say 53-year-old Christopher Pugh and 54-year-old Teresa Adams Pugh lived at a home on Cheney Drive. Investigators say someone called 911 around 6:45 Saturday night and hung up. Dispatchers returned the call and a man answered saying he did not call 911. Deputies responded anyway. They obtained a search warrant and found both inside dead from gunshot wounds.
A new traffic pattern is in place on Airport Boulevard on I-40. It's now a diverging diamond, which sends cars driving on the left side of the road. The idea is to help traffic flow more smoothly through the busy interchange.
A German tourist faces fines and possible jail time for scaling one of the 7 wonders of the world. Video shows the man breaking away from other tourists and sprinting up the left side of the El Castillo pyramid in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Other tourists could be heard booing and yelling, "Sacrifice, sacrifice." About 9,000 people flocked to the temple to observe spring equinox. Climbing the pyramid is prohibited under federal law.
You're allowed to climb another world-famous landmark, but you'll have to pay a fee and take a class before doing so. Mount Fuji is an icon of Japan, but it has also become a trash mountain, overcrowded by millions of tourists. To restore balance, the regions that share Mount Fuji have initiated new rules ahead of the climbing season, which runs from July to September.